Welcome to the Best Me podcast. Your best tomorrow starts today. I'm your host, Ellen Livingston. I believe showing up each and every day as the best version of myself doesn't happen on accident. It takes awareness and planning. On this podcast, I talk about planning for ways to improve my health, develop a sense of purpose in everyday life, and create meaningful connections so I can be the best me I can be. And so can you. Let's get started. Hey there, besties. It's me, Ellen. Thanks for listening today. I was in the grocery store the other day, and as I was leaving, I passed this older lady who had a t-shirt on that said, Good Attitude Club. I even think it had some bling on it because it caught my eye, and I thought, now there's someone that I would like to be friends with, because who doesn't want to be around other people who have good attitudes and are positive? And of course, it got me to thinking about how having a good attitude can truly make your life better. One of the most positive people that I have ever known was my dad. I think that like a lot of people who lived through the Great Depression and really knew what hard times were like, he realized what really mattered in life was family, friends, and the appreciation of what you have. And having a good, positive attitude can get you through anything. I'll never forget one day after I was grown and had moved out of the house, I had decided to drop by my parents' house for a visit. And guys, this was in January. It was cold and windy, just this blustery, cold, rainy day. And I had to park my car and run into the house real quick. And I was thinking as I entered the house how much I hated the weather. And my dad was standing by the window in their living room. And I can see him right now. He had his hands tucked into his front pockets. And when I walked into the room, he said, Isn't it great having a nice warm house? And it struck me at that moment how having a positive attitude can change your outlook in any given situation. My dad, who could have easily been looking out the window and having a negative thought about what a yucky day it was, kind of like I was doing, he instead took the opportunity to be grateful for his home. And my dad's ability to keep a good attitude really was a strength of his. Now, I know being around people who are always positive can be a little annoying at times, but have you ever been around someone who is just the opposite? Someone who is negative about everything and has what's called the victim mentality? People who have a victim mentality feel as though bad things keep happening to them and they have no control over things that happen because the world is out to get them. People with a victim mentality have continuous problems and everything is a catastrophe. They focus on their limitations instead of their potential. When there are problems, they make excuses for why a solution won't work. And if you've ever had a coworker like this, you know how hard it is to get things done. And people who play the victim often are resentful of others. They compare themselves to other people who succeed in ways that they haven't, and they think that they're just unlucky and nothing ever works out for them. They won't acknowledge that the reason someone else is more successful is because of their decisions and hard work. Victims blame everyone but themselves and will even take steps subconsciously or maybe not so subconsciously to keep themselves a victim by refusing help, or they'll engage in behaviors that will ensure they aren't successful. I'm sure you've heard of the saying about being your own worst enemy. These are people who cause most of their own problems because of their actions or their lack of action. Victims never take responsibility for any of their problems, and they always have a lot of problems. And if they do have something positive happen or they receive some good news, they minimize it by saying things like, oh, it was just a fluke or it won't last. And what's interesting about victim mentality is that it is a learned behavior. You aren't born this way, which makes you think, why? Why would anyone want to feel like a victim? Well, what I've read about it, there are a few reasons people take on a victim mentality. And one reason is it's a way to make people feel sorry for you and you gain their attention. Another reason some people play the victim is they never really have to be accountable. Nothing is their fault. And when you take on a victim mentality, it gives you a reason not to take risks. And that way you can avoid dealing with failures. But guys, that's not how you grow. That's not how you become the best you can be. But the great news is you get to decide. You can decide to have a good attitude. People with good attitudes get things done. People with good attitudes are happy for the success of other people. People with good attitudes take risks because they look at failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. And people with good attitudes take responsibility for their situation in life. And this is all part of the Best Me lifestyle. You are responsible for what you get out of life, and it just takes awareness and planning. So don't you think we all need to join the Good Attitude Club? I do. I think I'm even going to get the t-shirt. That's all I have for today, besties. Be kind, be positive, and be your best. And remember, small progress is still progress. Thanks for listening to the Best Me podcast. If you would like to make a comment, suggest a podcast topic, or just say hi, send me an email at bestmepodcast@gmail.com. I hope you'll join me next week as I continue to talk about how to be the best me I can be. This episode was edited by Adam Boatwright. If you need any help with music, audio and video editing, or digital arts, be sure and check him out at adamboatwright.com. That's ADAMBOATRIGHT.com.